emotional. It's great to have an opportunity to come back to GH Field, Arrowhead, and play in front of them. Appreciate their support. And then as far as the team went, I thought there were some really good things that took place. And as far as Josh's situation goes, it's a personal issue. I'm not going to talk about that. I did a little bit last night and then leave it at that. But I thought Jalen stepped in and did a nice job there. And as I mentioned, that it's a tribute to Andy Heck and the way he rotates all of his guys and make sure that they can play. And Jalen's played a couple different spots, both sides at the tackle, both sides at the guard. So he's busy during practice hitting all these things. But and offensively, again, it was good to see Patrick and Kelce hook up for a few nice catches there, and then getting Hollywood in the end zone. Hollywood's a good player. We got a lot of guys, and we're going to end up here adding one with Rasheed. So it's hard to get everybody going, but I thought Patrick did a nice job of getting everybody involved and spreading things around. I thought Matt Nagy had an unbelievable game plan for the guys, and they bought into it. And he and Joe kind of worked that thing together and put this thing together and come up with stuff, and with Andy Heck and the rest of the guys. So it was strong defensively. I love the transition that Spags made there. So we had a couple drives that were at the beginning, and he worked through that and kept everybody together, and made a couple little adjustments there, and guys tightened up the back end and kind of some of those gaps inside. But I thought his game plan was spot on. That's an explosive offensive group. We knew that going in. They've scored a ton of points and in all their games, and so we knew it'd be a big challenge. And I thought the guys handled that well. I thought the coaches that were involved there did a great job with it. Brendan Daly doesn't get enough credit for working with the linebackers. He's kind of stuck in the middle between the secondary and that D line. But Bolton, I thought, played really well. Got a ton of tackles in there and made some big plays that could have been extended. Even though they had gained a little bit of yardage, they could have been even bigger than that, and he was able to snag them. So, and then special teams wise, I mentioned it was great to get Bucker a field goal right there at the end, and he drilled that son of a gun, which was great. And we only had one punt, so Ariza didn't have a very busy day there, but did fine with it. So, and then I thought the return groups were good. Nico, again, had a couple nice returns there. So field position is always a big thing, especially against good teams. And that includes all three phases, but special teams got a lot of that responsibility. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
Hey, Coach, you get Rasheed Rice back this week, 6 weeks off of practice. What does the ramp-up period look like for him, and do you have optimism that, he could play just the full load of snaps and maybe he would have been able to had he been going?
Yeah, listen, I know he's been working like crazy. We can't, the rule states that we can't work with him, but I know he's been, as coaches, and, so, but I know he's been working out hard, and I think it's just a matter of getting him back in the swing. I'm not going to tell you, I've got to see it to kind of work through it, but I know he's in good shape. That's the one thing I do know. And I think that'll be important, him coming back in there and getting with Patrick and kind of getting on the same page, as and that whole deal. But we'll just see how all that works out. We haven't put the game plan in yet, so we're working through all that now.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor.
Hello, Andy. I have two questions for you. My first is, when you went back and rewatched the film, just what impressed you most about Jalen's performance?
Well, I thought he was just solid. I thought he did a nice job. It wasn't he was going against an all-pro player and 50% of the time. So it was that's a tough ask without playtime. But he handled. I love the way he handles himself during the week and how he practices fast and aggressive during the week and he doesn't. He never hangs his head that I'm not playing or done this or that. He just gets in there and bears down. And so I think that paid off for him once this thing happened. And he was solid in the run game too, run and pass. It was, he had a productive day.
Yeah. And Andy, I know you said you're not going to discuss the personal situation with Josh, but based on your conversations with him, do you anticipate when he'll be back with the team, or is that still sort of unclear at this point?
Yeah, just to take care of business. That's how those things work. You having a barbecue, Nate? Huh?
Nah, it's just nice outside, Coach.
All right.
We'll go next to Sarin.
See, I mean, I know you've talked about how much he worked at, getting in shape and everything, but he seems like, 2-3 years younger almost, right? In the way, I mean, his first catch, he made a nice little cut and turn. We didn't see a lot of that. I'm just curious, one, I mean, do you see that same kind of, a lot more spring in his step this year than he had last year? And two, was there maybe, I know you never talk about injuries, in the middle of things, but was he maybe battling some things that, I know everybody's dinged up and banged up during the course of the year, but was there maybe some injury things that were maybe nagging that, nobody wanted to talk about at the time, but maybe now you could reveal to us?
You're talking about last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I not that I recall, but we've been giving him a lot of Geritol, and he really has, progressed. Like,
Oh, that's it? Okay, the Geritol. All right. I thought maybe there was going to be more. All right. And then I know you like to, when you win the coin toss, to defer. I think everybody understands why, the chance to get the double possessions. Were you surprised, with the Lions move, and does that serve to maybe motivate the team a little bit that, they weren't, going for that they were trying to make a statement, so to maybe make a statement back?
Yeah, so it's not the first time that was the third time they had done that this year. So we anticipated something like that possibly happening, and the guys they're good with that. I don't know if it was motivation or not, but our guys saw, they knew that they had done it before, so it wasn't a big surprise.
Right, and then seizing on the opportunity, getting it, you basically got the score the way it was. How important was that in the game to be able to go from 10-6 down to 20-10, basically with just a few seconds that they were only able to possess the ball?
Yeah, that was a positive, definitely. Are you talking about the drive in the second half, the first drive, second half? Yeah,
just being able to do. I mean, I know that's what everybody needs to do. Get that touchdown going into the half and get another one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. And you're right. The stop before the half was also big. We ended up taking a knee there at the end, but just a few seconds on the clock. But that drive to be able to stop him there was big, and then the drive before that, where we were able to get a score, was good. So, and then obviously coming out the second half, you're always striving for that. You try to come out with a purpose, and the guys did a great job of executing and getting a score.
Well, let's go next to Nick Jacobs.
And Sydney, I'll have a follow-up if I can, please. Andy, to go from Monday night to where, you have the 13 penalties and it's a late night, you guys are flying back, to be able to match the challenge this week and execute the way you did, have 0 penalties on the score sheet, and for them to match the physicality of the Lions, what do you feel like that says about this team?
Yeah, Nick, I thought the officials let the guys play. I'm not saying I agreed with everything that went on, but I thought they were very fair on how they did it. And so They could have called us on some, and they could have called them on some, and they kind of let it play out and let the teams really show off what they've got. So, which I think is good. I think it's good for everybody. I think it's good for the fans. Good for within reason, within reason. And then, we had to tighten some things up, Nick. I mean, all 13 of those calls weren't wrong. I mean, that's not what I'm saying here. We had to tighten some things up, and I thought our guys did that. They worked on it during the week and just making sure their fundamentals and technique were right. And half of it is moving yourself into a position where you can execute. And so that comes down to footwork and speed and angles. And you got to do that. I mean, those are things that you can take charge of and work on.
And then from a run game perspective, what do you hope the offensive line and the running backs take away from being able to take on the challenge of a physical front like that?
Yeah, well, I thought Pop ran hard, and I thought he was accurate with his reads. And then when Kareem came in, I thought the same thing, powerful, and it starts with the O-line. I mean, they've got to have things rolling up front, but they played physical. Our offensive line played physical against a good defensive line, and a defensive front, because I mean those linebackers aren't tiny guys either. They're big old guys back there and physical. So, but I thought they played well. There are things that we can do better all the way around. I mean, that's not. There's places that we need to tighten up and make it better than what we had. But overall, I'd tell you it was a pretty good job.
Pat mentioned last night that the receivers get along really well on this team. I just wondered what you've seen kind of from inside the building as far as that group and how they've built up chemistry over time.
Yeah, Jesse, I tell you a little bit like this is what I meant when I said after the game that they having one come back into the fold there and be able to play, and then Rasheed coming back in the building, period. They kind of felt whole. And that's because they like each other. I mean, they get along, they hang out together, they work together on their route combinations, and they're always talking about stuff to get better there. And they've got a good friendship, which will be needed now because we got more guys and we only have one football. So you want them to help support each other, and I think that ends up being important. I think Juju has a big part of that, and he's a uniter, and he's still a tough guy and all that bit that goes with it, a good receiver. And he's been around, so I think he keeps it all together there. A big Harrison Butker fan, so I think he's a great kicker, and if not the best, one of the best clutch kickers in the National Football League. So it was just good. I know how that thing goes. I know the swing. I understand all that. And sometimes that ball looks nice and fat, and other times it looks a little tiny. And so, but the first one he didn't hit very good on the PAT, and then he came back and finished strong the rest of the night. And I thought getting a field goal in there, I think that's big. I mean, listen, we're all human. And a little pat on the back. You're being nice on that, but a nice pat on the back it was a positive.
And you talked with Nick a little bit about the run game, but your running backs had, I believe, 74 yards last night. You haven't had a game where that they collectively have gotten over 100. Is there more that you're looking for from that game, especially to maybe take the load off of some of the things that Patrick has done to kind of augment those running, at least the running numbers?
Yeah, Pat had the 30 yards rushing. So, listen, he's going to rush no matter what. I mean, he's going to run the ball. There's just times when where if something doesn't look right, or maybe there's a pressure here or there, that he's going to take off and go. And so, I mean, I get that. It's important that he does like he did last night, where he got down on the ground and not take the big hits, with the exception of one run there. He was able to get down and try to limit the hits on him. So, and then listen, I thought our guys ran the ball well. I thought they had a good night at that. And there was a mix. So when you do this RPO game, you're calling runs, but some of them turn into passes. That's the beauty of the thing. And so maybe your numbers are down just a little bit, but they end up increasing in the completions.
During the Chiefs' dominant win over the Detroit Lions on Sunday night, fans witnessed a rare and heartwarming moment between Kansas City head coach Andy Reid and star tight end Travis Kelce, one that reminded everyone that football, at its core, is still a family game. Midway through the matchup, Kelce made a spectacular catch from Patrick Mahomes and, in classic fashion, tried to leap over a Lions defender to reach the end zone. But instead of sticking the landing, he was flipped upside down and crashed hard on his head. The 36-year-old quickly got up, but the fall looked brutal enough to send a jolt through every Chiefs fan watching. As the stadium collectively held its breath, Andy Reid made his way over to Kelce during a Lions timeout. Cameras caught the veteran coach giving his player a reassuring pat on the helmet and leaning in to share a few calm, fatherly words before sending him back into the game. The brief, quiet exchange spoke volumes, especially given how much media attention the two have received in recent months for their fiery sideline arguments. This time, it wasn't about strategy or emotion. It was about care. Mahomes later joined in the lighthearted concern, reposting a clip of Kelce's tumble with the caption, "You good?" A small gesture that fans quickly flooded with laughing emojis and heart comments. But beneath the humor was a shared sense of relief that the team's veteran leader was all right. After the game, Kelce made sure to return the appreciation. In an interview with ESPN's Scott Van Pelt, he credited Coach Reid for the team's preparation and composure during the 30-7 victory. "We were fired up to experience that challenge this week," Kelce said. "Coach Andy Reid did a great job of getting us ready. We went out there and put up a 30 ball on that defense, and that's not an easy thing to do, man." For Chiefs fans, those words carried extra meaning. Not long ago, rumors were swirling that the relationship between Kelce and Reid had soured after a heated sideline altercation went viral. The clip, showing Kelce shouting in Reid's ear while the coach tried to push him away, sparked headlines and speculation that tension was growing behind the scenes, but both men have since shut those rumors down completely. Speaking to the Kansas City Star, Kelce clarified, "I love that guy, man. There's nothing outside of this building that's going to make me feel any different. We know each other's intentions exactly." Reid echoed that sentiment in a later ESPN interview, smiling as he grabbed Kelce's arm and said, "Each guy shines his own shine, and some of them shine a little brighter." It was a fitting statement from one of football's most respected coaches about one of its brightest stars. Because if Sunday night's game proved anything, it's that even in the toughest sport on earth, a little humanity, a hand on the helmet, a few quiet words, can mean everything. After the game, the locker room atmosphere reflected that same sense of unity that had played out on the field. Reporters noted that both Travis Kelce and Andy Reid appeared lighter, joking with teammates as if the earlier weeks of tension had never existed. When Kelce was asked about the viral clip of their heated argument earlier in the season, he laughed it off. "Coach and I, man, we're like family," he said, grinning. "We fight, we make up, and then we go win football games together. That's just how it goes." It was the perfect full-circle moment for one of the league's most talked-about duos. What once looked like a crack in their bond has now become proof of how much mutual respect actually exists between them. Reid, the veteran strategist with decades of NFL experience, and Kelce, the emotional heartbeat of the Chiefs' offense, have built a relationship grounded in intensity and love for the game. Even Taylor Swift, who was in attendance for the matchup, couldn't help but cheer loudly from her suite after Kelce's bounce-back plays. Cameras caught her smiling and clapping as he jogged back to the sidelines, an image that quickly spread across social media. Fans flooded timelines with captions like, "Taylor's man is unstoppable," and "That's the look of a proud fiancé." But perhaps the sweetest moment came when Reid was asked post-game about Kelce's hard fall and his own reaction on the sidelines. "I just wanted to make sure he was okay," the coach said with a chuckle. "He's got a big heart, plays with a lot of passion. Sometimes I gotta remind him that I love him, even when he tries to jump over linebackers at 36 years old." The exchange drew laughter from reporters, but also underscored just how deep their connection runs. This wasn't just about stats or highlight plays. It was about a team that feels more like a family, led by a coach who balances discipline with care, and a player who gives his all every time he steps onto the field. For Kelce, the night wasn't just another win. It was a moment of redemption, reassurance, and reflection. As he walked off the field, he gave Reid a quick shoulder tap and the cameras caught it. A simple gesture that said everything words couldn't. We're good. And with that, the Chiefs didn't just walk away with a victory on the scoreboard, they walked away stronger, tighter, and more in sync than ever.